Introduction. David, Floyd, Chairman, Mr. Commissioner, Floyd, Madam Librarian. I'm so moved, I'm so touched to be here with my co-writer, Andrew Iden, to be here with each and every one of you. My late wife was a librarian. She loved books, read all the time. When I was dating her, she said she was going to get my papers in order. She was going to collect all of my books and put them in order. And I kept on telling her, get my papers in order, get my books in order. And I fell in love with books, with library. I tell you, give you just a little story. I'm so moved to be here. In 1956, when I was 16 years old, I've been so inspired by Rosa Parks and Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. With some of my brothers and sisters and cousins, we went down to the public library in a little town of Troy, Alabama, trying to get a library card, trying to check out some books. And we were told by the librarian that the libraries are whites only and not for colors. I never went back to that library, to that building, until July 5th, 1998, for a book signing of my book, Walking with the Wind. And hundreds of blacks and white citizens showed up. Signed a lot of books, had a wonderful reception. End of the reception, they gave me a library card. It says something about the distance we've come and the progress we've made. Yeah. And to see this rainbow, to see you here in downtown Durham, here in the heart of North Carolina, standing together, reading together, yes. March, Book 1. It makes me feel good. You're a beautiful group. Handsome. Just good looking. To see all these young people, all these children, I know they're going to grow up and be smart because they're going to read. I had a wonderful teacher when I was in elementary school, in a very poor old private school, who told me, read, my child, read. And I tried to read everything, everything. We didn't have that many books, but I tried to read every book. We were too poor to have a subscription to the local newspaper, but my grandfather had a subscription. And when he would finish reading his newspaper each day, we would get his newspaper and read it. So I said to you young people, to you children, and to those of us not so young, but a little older, read. I know in this day of the new technology, but it's nothing like holding a book in your hand. Yeah. Holding that book and reading that book. So, nice, thank you. Thank you, Andrew. Give me this shirt. Madam Librarian, thank you for inviting us to come. Now, growing up there in rural Alabama, 50 miles from Montgomery, outside of that little place called Troy, you heard in the introduction, maybe from the chairman of the county commission, that I'm the son of a sharecropper. I remember very well growing up. But in 1944, at the age of 4, and I remember when I was 4. How many of you remember when you were 4? That's very good. What happened to the rest of us? My father had saved $300, and with the $300, he bought 110 acres of land. My family still owns this land today. We raise a lot of cotton and corn, peanuts, hogs, and cows, and chickens. I won't tell you the full story of the chicken, but those of you that are reading March know that I wanted to be a minister. And from time to time, with the help of my brothers and sisters and cousins, we would gather all of our chickens together in the chicken yard that you're gathered here. And the chickens, along with my brothers and sisters and cousins, would help make up the audience, the congregation. And I would start speaking or preaching, and when I look back on it, some of these chickens would bow their heads, some of these chickens would shake their heads. They never quite said amen. But I'm convinced that some of those chickens that I preached to during the 40s and the 50s tended to listen to me much better than some of my colleagues listen to me today in the Congress. And some of those chickens were just a little more productive. But I tell you, you're more than blessed. You're more than lucky to have these two unbelievable members of Congress. We have Congressman David Price and Congressman Butterfield. Sometimes I look up at the board and see how they are voting. And I follow their leadership. I'm honored to be in your presence today. And I want to thank each and all of the elected officials for being here. Well, I got to know your father very well. If you come to Washington and visit my office, you will see a photograph on the wall, framed in the Oval Office of President Johnson, the day of the March on Washington. Your father and others made a lasting contribution. America is a different America. Our country is a better country. If someone had told me back in 1940 when I was born, or told me in 1960 when I started sitting in, or 61 going on a freedom ride, by 1964, when the Civil Rights Act was passed, if someone had told me when I walked across that bridge on Bloody Sunday in Selma, beaten, left bloody and unconscious, that one day that I would live to see a man of color become president of the United States. So you don't know what you're talking about. So when people tell me nothing has changed, I just feel like saying, come and walk in my shoes. March Book 1 is saying, in effect, that we must never, ever give up, or give in, or give out. We must keep the faith, hold on to our dreams, and it's saying to our young people, you too can find a way to get in the way. Because when I was growing up and would ask my mother, my father, my grandparents, my great-grandparents about those signs that said white waiting, colored waiting, white men, colored men, that's the way it is. Don't get in the way, don't get in trouble. But Rosa Parks and Dr. King and others, the Little Rock Nine, inspired me to find a way to get in trouble. Good trouble, necessary trouble. And I hope, and Andrew hope that Book March, Book 1, Book 2, be out next January. Book 3 will be out in 2016. Will inspire another generation of young people to stand up, to speak up, to speak out and find a way to help make our country and help make our world, this little piece of real estate, a little better. we have an obligation and a mission to leave this little planet a little cleaner, a little greener, and a little more peaceful. To see the young people demonstrating today in Hong Kong, carrying signs saying no violence. The way of peace, the way of love, the way of nonviolence is a better way. So you see marching feet on book 1, when book 2 come out next year. It will be an image of the burning of the bus, the Greyhound bus, that came through North Carolina, through South Carolina, through Georgia, through Alabama, through Mississippi, where we were arrested in jail. We tell the story of the movement, not just for this generation, but for generation yet unborn. So people all over America are reading the book. One book, one community. Durham Read. 8,500 freshman students are reading the book at the university, Michigan State University. 3,500 freshman students are reading at Georgia State University. 2,000 students, freshman students in Marquette are reading as required reading. And hundreds and thousands of other students are reading in elementary school, middle school, high school, and college. So Durham, you're not alone. Thank you for reading March. Now I'm going to yield to Andrew for a moment, a little amount of time. Andrew,